also important. Here we go.
Sir.
What is up, YouTube? This is Dan here at Vivid Racing, and today we are going to be doing a new mod to our Project Raptor. That's right, guys. We are going to make this thing stop on a dime because we have done the Garrett turbocharged upgrade, and it's making 600 horsepower. And when you are flying that fast in this truck, you will want to make sure that you are braking. So we've hooked up with the guys at Baer Brakes to get us a full brake system for the Raptor, improving the braking for towing, driving, and everything else. So we're going to get rid of these standard cast junky steel things and put a really cool big brake system on the truck. Let's go for a quick spin and then we'll show you guys the brakes. Okay, so when you're doing a brake upgrade in any vehicle, there's a couple things that really make the difference, and that's going to be brake pads, steel braided brake lines, and of course, caliper. Now, most people will do a brake upgrade by simply doing some aggressive brake pads, some drilled rotors, and some steel braided brake lines with some good .4 fluid. This will give you a firmer pedal feel, as well as slightly improving your brakes. And if you're towing, and even if you're ripping this thing through off-road trails, brakes are good to have. We went with the full Baer brake kit because you're getting a fully engineered brake system. We're talking about a larger caliper, a piston bore that is designed to work with the increased size of the rotor. Not only is the rotor bigger, but it's going to be lighter. A two-piece rotor is going to give better pad wear, as well as create a braking that is very, very firm and allow you to control and feel that almost modular. When you have a fully floating rotor with equal pressure on either side of the pad based upon the caliper design, you are going to get the best heat dissipation as possible. And that's really important when it comes to braking, as well as the rotor design. You'll see the vanes on the inside of the rotor. That is what also helps with heat dissipation. The quicker you can eliminate heat from braking, the better the vehicle will stop. Now, Baer Brakes is located here in Arizona by us. They design everything from machining the caliper, machining the rotors, engineering the complete system, which is very cool. This is not your typical 72 piston large brake caliper that you see on eBay. This is a true big brake system. A lot of guys with the Raptor may or may not be towing. This will make your life much better when you are trying to brake and you don't have it there because you're coming in hot. It's scary. But you know what? Let's just see how these stock brakes perform, because we're going to lock these things up. Let's do, let's say, a 50 to 0 stop and see how the brakes perform. All right, we're going to do a 50 to 0 full stop, see how this thing goes. Okay, that was fun. This thing locked up nicely. You can hear the big 37 Toyo tires and VR Forge wheels definitely doing some skids. So we had a couple little junk fly everywhere, but other than that, it did stop okay. Now, I did feel like I was, even with ABS, slowly sliding a little bit, and I think we need to slow that down quite a bit. And it's gonna be a tremendous difference with the way Baer's large caliper and floating rotor are gonna brake. Let's try this again. All right, here we go. Brake test number 2, up to 50. Okay, so definitely a little bit slow. You know, we've got a lot of rotational mass here that's going on with the tires and the wheels. So that's it. That's my very technical, scientific brake testing job. Now I'm going to bring it here back into the Vivid garage so we can check out those brakes, and then we'll get these things installed. Let's do it. All right, here we go. We got the brakes. Let's see what we got here from the boys at Baer. This looks like it is their 4261409R. What does that mean? Raptor 2015 plus brake kit. So anyone here that's got a 2015 Raptor and up, including the new 2021, this brake kit is for you. So let's see what we got inside the box here. A massive, massive Baer Brakes caliper here. This is a 6-piston brake kit, some aggressive pads to it as well. This thing is at least 3 inches longer than the stock calipers. So we'll pull those things out. Looks like we got some bleeder tube there. Here's the other caliper, massive You got brackets on there, everything. And Baer does the external line, as you can see down there, so pretty easy to bleed these. This is a monoblock caliper. Then in this box, we'll probably have the rotors here. Look at the size of that thing. I believe this is a 380 millimeter. We'll actually get the exact size here and put it in the video, but this is a drilled and slotted rotor. That means exceptionally good ventilation, meaning you will brake and have lots of heat dissipation. It's a two-piece floating rotor. You can see we've got the aluminum hat that's attached to the rotor. And this is the vanes that I was talking about. The vane design, how many vanes are in there, change the way the heat dissipation does. They've got their hardware there to bolt the hat to there. And anytime you have a two-piece floating rotor, the hat is not a consumable item, so you can just replace just the disc on there and reuse the hat with new hardware. So there it is. That is the new Baer Brakes full big brake kit going on the Raptor. You can see we've got massive rotors, big calipers, and this should drastically change the way the truck stops. So now that we got those out here and you checked them out, let's get this truck in and start the install. Let's check it out, guys. Here it is. We've got the Baer brake all mounted up. Beautiful, massive 6-piston caliper. 1, 2, 3. That's 3 pistons on either side, correctly drilled and bored in series here to really handle grabbing the brake rotor to produce the best possible clamping force on this massive rotor. So you can see this thing is all mounted up nicely. Next step here is we are going to be bleeding the brakes, which we'll do some explanation of that as we do it, so you can understand the process that we do to make sure that these are giving us the best possible stopping power. All right, we are at the point where we are bleeding the brakes, and there's a couple ways that you can actually do this. A very common way is to do the old 1, 2, 3 hold, and when you do hold, you loosen up the brake caliper nipple there, and you try and get as much air out of the line as you can while continuing to fill the master cylinder with fluid. You want to get all the air bubbles out, that way you get a nice hard pedal feel. On this caliper, you have one nipple on the outside and one on the inside, so you do want to go between the two to make sure that you have it completely bled from the full system. You can do one caliper and you can do the other, and that's when you'll know when it's time to take a test drive. So that's the best way to do the bleeding process. We've got everything set up here, and now it's time for us to give the old 1, 2, 3 pump.
Yeah.
There they are. We've got the brakes on. They look massive behind our 20-inch wheels, so good. Those are all in place now. Now we got to take the truck and take it out there, and we got to bed in these brakes. And to bed in brakes, you want to do about 5 hard locked up stops from 60 miles an hour to 0 to really get those pads and rotors to mate nicely. So we're going to jump in the truck and make these things brake hard. So let's give some big hits to this, and then we'll do more driving and show you how it feels with the new Baer brakes. So let's get to it. Here we go. Brake bed in process number 1. Well, that definitely needs a little bit more bedding. You can tell that pads have no heat to them, so we'll get these things, a couple more pumps here, and those brakes should start sticking nicely. But you can tell from the camera jumping around that they do grab much more. So let's hit this again right now. All right, 2 more pulls here, get this thing to lock up. got some brakes going on now. And bleeding brakes is definitely a science. So if you notice that, hey, the brakes are not doing everything that you want, sometimes you got to re-bleed them. It's not a big deal, happens all the time. Bleeding brakes is a process. So they are definitely grabby, much more sensitive. Let's give it one more hit here and make sure that we're getting everything we want out of this for stopping. All right, so we did our 5-6 brake bed-in process. Now the pads have some heat into them, and you know, they're responsive, and it definitely, the front end wants to dive down. So our brakes are working. I might re-bleed them one more time just to make sure. Then what we can do is give it some good brake tests, see what the distance is, and we'll use our draggy for that so we can see how our braking distance is from something even that the factory would measure. So other than that, brake install went great. Now we'll wait till tomorrow and do some more driving. We finished the install of the Baer brake. Now we're out here, we're gonna give it a little test. And you know, if you're going fast, you gotta stop fast. And you think to yourself, well, it's a truck, not a race car. Well, most likely if you have a truck, you're putting a bunch of junk in the back or you're towing something. And when you're towing things, it could be a camper, trailer with a car, something, you'll notice that your stopping distance is greatly reduced? Diminished. You'll notice that your stopping distance is greatly diminished because of that extra weight. You start coming up to cars at red lights or something's going on in front of you where you need to really stop, you're gonna be kind of scared because you're gonna get close to those vehicles. So that's why doing a brake upgrade is very important. Even if it's just pads, rotors, and lines, brake performance is just as important as horsepower performance and suspension performance. So as you've seen, we've put the Baer Brakes new kit on the Raptor here, and this has their 6-piston caliper with a 15-inch 2-piece rotor, a floating rotor for that matter, that's going to give perfect pad wear to either side, better heat dissipation, and improve that stopping distance. So we played with it a little bit stock. Now that we've got it installed, let's do some brake lockups and see how this thing does stop. And we've got our draggy here, and we're going to measure those distances, which is going to be 60 to 0 miles an hour. Now, when you do these type of brake tests, you got to lock these things up, and that's part of even the bed-in process. We've got our big Toyo open country mud terrain 37-inch tires here on the VR Forge wheels, the one-piece monoblock wheels that are forged construction, and these wheels weigh a total of 110 pounds per corner, which means that you have 330 pounds of rotational weight on each end of the truck. So you put those bigger wheel tires on there because you want it to look cooler. Now you got to stop even harder. Let's give this thing a test. Here we go. Baer Brakes test number 1. All right, this thing definitely will stop your throat off. Let's see what we got 60 to 0. While we're waiting for this thing to load, my trusty sidekick here will look up what the factory stopping distance is for a 2020 Ford Raptor. Okay, we got our validated report here with the draggy, and 60 to 0 miles per hour was 3.72 seconds in 156 feet. We're at a 0.3% slope, so pretty much flat. You can see here, we can actually look at this, and 60 to 20 miles an hour took 2.33 seconds. That's how long it takes to really focus, slow down. But with these brakes, it is a huge difference. You can see we are fully locked up, and it brings us right to a stop. All right, here we go. Draggy test number 2 or 3. We're gonna do 70 to 0 miles an hour, so we can compare it with car and drivers. 70 to 0 at 212 feet. Let's see what the Baer Brakes do. Okay, this is great. This shows that with these 110 pound per corner wheel and tire combo and these new brakes, we stopped 4.5 seconds, 70 to 0 miles an hour in 213 feet. So when doing the stopping test, again, the wheels on this one about 110 pounds per corner. Stock 17-inch non-beadlock or beadlock, I think, Raptor wheels with tire and the wheel are about 99 pounds. So that means we have an extra 10 pounds per corner. With a factor of 3, we are trying to stop an extra 30 pounds per corner with the truck. Compared to their test, Car and Driver, of 70 to 0, they were able to achieve that in about 212 feet. We did it with the bigger wheels and tires on this truck, 213 feet. You can see we have an equivalent stopping power to them while carrying an additional 30 pounds of rotational weight per corner. If we have the time, we'll try and do an equal test with the OEM wheels and tires that came on this 2020 Raptor. But you can see that the Baer Brakes truly make a difference when driving something like this every day. I hope you guys enjoyed us messing around here with the Raptor and the Baer Brakes. Tremendous difference on how this truck now stops. These are the real deal. A brake upgrade is definitely an improvement for those that are really jamming on their truck and towing things. Brakes are just as important as power, and we've got both now. So hope you enjoyed the video. Check out all our Baer brake applications on our website, vividracing.com. If you got any questions about this kit or other kits related to brake systems, drop us a comment. Make sure you hit that like button and definitely continue to follow us as we got more cool things going on with our project cars here at Vivid Racing. We'll see you guys at the next one.